Hi, my name is Miles Allard, and today I'm doing my project on Johnny Appleseed, Miss Dutt's 6th grade class. Johnny Appleseed's real name was John Chapman. He was born September 26, 1774. He had 11 brothers and sisters. His father, Nathaniel Chapman, fought as a Minuteman at the Battle of Concord and later served in the Continental Army under General George Washington. Because he had such a large family, John had to quit school to help with money. He worked with local farmers. John learned to plant and take care of apple trees. When he was 23 years old, John decided to explore other places in America. He took seeds from some of the trees he had cared for and started walking. As he walked westward, John planted many different kinds of apple trees. John traveled hundreds of miles, planting trees and giving other people apple seeds. Word spread about John. Some folks said he dressed very strangely, going barefoot and wearing a mush pot on his head. But he was a gentleman, and everyone, even wild animals, regarded him as a friend. People started to call him Johnny Appleseed. He became an American legend while still alive due to his kind and generous way, his leadership and conversation, and the symbolic importance he attributed to apples. He was also a missionary for the new church and the inspiration for many museums and historical sites such as the Johnny Appleseed Heritage Center in Ashland County, Ohio. The Fort Wayne Tin Caps, a minor league baseball team in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where Chapman spent his final years, is named in his honor. We can still see the influence of Johnny Appleseed today. Did you know there are over 2,500 varieties of apple trees? We can buy many types of apples. Here are some little known facts about Johnny Appleseed. John was very well known in the regions where he traveled most, and people would invite him into their homes because they loved hearing his stories. He didn't become widely known, however, until after his death. The tale of his life and the stories he told slowly spread in the years after his death until, in 1871, Harper's New Monthly magazine published a story about him, and his fame grew nationally as well. In the years to come, certain areas would hold festivals in his honor, and he became a folk hero legend. He didn't just randomly plant trees. The legend tells the tale of man who just wandered here and there, randomly planting apple trees. In reality, John Chapman planted nurseries. He would find unclaimed land and plant apple orchards on it. Planting the orchards was a legal way of claiming ownership in some areas of the West. After planting, he would leave them to grow and wait for people to settle in this region. Then he would come back years later and sell the trees at a huge profit. Pretty smart. Johnny Appleseed was friends with everyone he came across, whether it was Native Americans or settlers. He spoke to everyone and spent plenty of time having in-depth conversations with both Native Americans, tribes, and settlers about agriculture and preserving the earth. He was a vegetarian. He never ate animals nor used their skins. He did not hunt at all, which was very unusual for the time. He was very wealthy, although he did not flaunt his wealth. He dressed very modestly and often wore the same short pants round. Legend has described him as being a small, funny looking man that wore only potato sacks. He may have been small in stature but have did not wear potato sacks. He never wore shoes but was well known for giving shoes away to children. He was very charitable, and while he wore tattered clothing and walked shoeless wherever he went, he gave away good clothing and shoes to complete strangers. He reported that his favorite book was the Bible and often carried one in his leather satchel protected by parchment paper. He walked the countryside for 50 years between Massachusetts, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. He died from pneumonia at his brother Nathaniel's home in Ohio in 1845. Johnny Appleseed died March 18th, 1845, just before the apple trees he had planted started to bloom. Thank you.